We're the Phat Peeps.
Hey peeps,
What's
Hello?
going on, everybody? Welcome to the Phat Peeps Podcast, episode number 32. We are the Phat Peeps.
That's us.
wow.
I'm your host, Joey, and I'm here with John, aka Cameraman John.
That's me.
Oh,
My belly hurts.
hello, John.
Yeah, he just did a charity stream where you want to talk about it, John?
Oh,
You go ahead and
me, Death, Liz, and a couple other guys like PJ and Garrett. Well, PJ and Garrett didn't do the hot sauce stuff, but we ate stuff covered in hot sauce for charity for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation.
We were there for moral support.
Yeah, it was fun. Much success. Thank you for everyone that was there.
They raised almost $500 in that
Oh,
one
wow.
session, which is
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, 4-hour session.
So
Fantastical.
be sure to catch
We might do a longer
the
session
stream.
next time.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see.
And that voice you heard right there was Garrick, aka Big Target.
Oh, hello.
And then we also got PJ, aka Tech 3200.
Hi, everybody.
Wow. Look who it is.
And Where the Phat Peeps is a podcast where we normally talk about video games and other nerdy stuff like
Nerd
movies
stuff.
and tech. Just depends on what's going on, what mood we're into.
Oh,
And we got some
yeah.
hot topics today, like
Hot
the
topics.
new Nvidia graphics cards and the PS5 showcase.
Wow.
But before we get to that, we always like to start our show with an icebreaker question.
It's still warm outside, so this is perfect.
I know we still need it, right? I just got a notification on my phone that it's going to be like 98 tomorrow.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, gee
God.
willikers.
Gross.
Not again. I thought we were over that.
Me too.
Anyway, so today's question is, what is the first thing you remember saving up for and buying with your own money?
Wow. Great question,
wow.
Joey.
I
That's a
don't know,
tough
I don't
one.
know. That's a really tough one.
God,
Okay.
that's so long ago.
What?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's like
We're
just the
so
saving up
old.
part because I've been very instilled from a very young age to save. So I was like very young was gonna be my answer, but then you said to buy something. Like, dang it, I don't have an
Yeah,
answer.
I would always ask my
No.
parents for stuff, and they would just say
Oh.
no or yes.
Actually probably video games because my parents
Yeah.
would buy me video games.
Right.
Oh,
Mhm.
actually,
Oh,
I just had a memory.
a mammogram?
It kind of counts because I never get to buy. Okay, so here's the story. It was Grand Theft Auto Vice City came out. I
Okay.
think. And I was not the right age to buy it. You know, mature M-rated game. I finally saved some money. Had my mom drive me over to the GameStop, whatever.
One of the
And
two.
yeah, one of those. And I was like, this game, I'm buying it with my money I earned. I just came home, I run a game. My age can't buy it by himself. Walk up to the
Uh-huh.
counter. I'm like, Mom, I'm using my own money to buy this game. You can't say no, right? You know. She was like, okay, it's your money. You gotta buy it. Walk up to the counter. The GameStop employee's like, all right, ma'am, do you know this is an M-rated game?
Oh God, that
It
irritates
has
Ah.
me.
violence, sexual content, drug reference, and my mom's like, "What?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "No." She said, I feel like I was like trying to be like, "No, it's not, that's not what it means," or something. And I never got to use that money, so it's an
Oh,
anti.
no.
That's an anti-answer, right?
No, it's still something you saved up for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to count.
And I left with no Grand Theft Auto Vice City in my hands.
Oh,
Dang,
Gosh darn, GameStop and Bully doing his job.
I know, right? I went through
Ah.
that similar thing with it was Blockbuster in San Luis Obispo when I was living up there with my mom, and I had asked for the game too, and the employee did the same thing. But my mom looked at me and she's like, "That doesn't sound good," and I'm like, "It'll be fine. I'm aware you don't kill people with guns, and I'm aware I shouldn't have sex." And then she's like, "Okay." I think I was like 12.
Oh man, see, I had no way of.
I could reason with
changing
my
that.
parents a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
had no reasoning.
I'm trying to think. For me, it was probably a Super Nintendo game. I can't give you an exact one, but I that's like the earliest recollection of saving up money that I can think of. As far as like anything, I guarantee it was probably like a Mario game or something like that, because I remember my parents buying me at EB Games, actually, or it was
EB,
either
might have been
EB
EB
Games
Games.
or it
Oh
was
wow,
what was that toy store that was in the mall?
what a throwback!
Toys R
Um,
Us?
No, not Toys R Us. The other one, the one that went out of business.
Babies
Like
R
wait,
Us.
Babies R Us?
no, the one that went out of business before KB Toys.
I don't think I've ever been to those. But maybe
I
I'm
think
not
it was a
remembering.
KB Toys.
I
Anyhow,
recognize the name.
It,
Sounds
yeah,
like
it went out of business 15, 20 years ago. It was like long before Toys R Us
Circuit
finally
City?
saw
They
it.
existed.
They
Yeah, Red
did.
City.
So I got it there, and then I think I bought the game for myself a few months later. I like I said, I don't have an exact one, but
How'd you do it?
huh?
How'd you do it? Oh, I thought. I'm sorry.
It was just like Christmas and
Yeah.
birthday money that I had been getting, and I just kept saving for it.
Yeah, no, I was still in the same the M-rated story. But yeah, my brain
Oh.
not working right now.
I transitioned that way I could
Yeah.
give my answer really quick.
I'm gonna transition back to John's M-rated game story. I remember I convinced my mom to get me True Crime on the Streets of LA.
Oh,
That
By
sounds
telling her-
interesting.
No, it's
That's a s-
fine. You play as the cop.
yeah, I remember.
Oh
playing that game.
God,
I
Yeah,
think
that's
my
pretty
uncle
convincing.
rented that for me.
that's smart. I mean, I don't know. I was still surprised my mom like gave in, but like I gave her just a dead set stare, and I'm just like, I understand right from wrong, and she was like,
Yeah.
sure.
And then for me, pretty early, it was kind of just like whatever. Like I remember when I was maybe like 11 or something, uh, my mom got me Shadow of Rome. Have you guys ever played that game?
Oh no.
Isn't that pretty
It's
violent?
it's a
like,
game that it's super violent. It's just well, it's not just, but like part of it is a gladiatorial combat game,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and you're just like ripping arms off and chopping dudes in
Nice.
half.
Sounds like
And it's
fun.
cool.
buddy.
It's super cool. It's a cool game. It's kind of got like
wholesome
annoying
fun.
cell sections, but yeah. And then like a year later, I got Gears of War on my 360. So
Yeah, I think
Nice.
Gears was one of the first, like, oh my god, this is gory as hell for a lot of people. Because that was the game that, like, opened that market up entirely to mainstream games, I guess. Like, even Call of Duty tried treading the line a little bit, and now it's like they have dismemberment and stuff. I'm like, oh god. What's your answer, though, Joey? That you
oh,
vote?
I remember saving up for like a year and a half to get a GameCube.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Garrick?
Yeah, I got like a GameCube and Pokemon channel, I think.
That's a better answer
Yeah, I
than
don't.
mine.
I don't really recall much because, like I said a little bit earlier, usually it's like I just ask my parents, and it's usually a yes or no, or I would probably just use my my gift cards or cash monies from gifts for games as well. So nothing too
it's-
memorable, but
the same
like
thing
more
for you then.
recently, it would be me saving up to build my own computer. But that's a big deal for me because I never really did something that humongous and undertaking building a computer too. So I will
I'm-
always remember that.
Your
And
car.
that was literally last year. I
I
mean,
feel like a
car,
car's
yeah,
bigger.
it's all right. It's not too special. It's just a car. Maybe
Yeah,
when I
we-
save up for a Tesla, then I'll be more excited.
Ooh.
Oh god.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
That
for the
car
car
was
parts,
my
like,
dream
it
car.
wasn't really saving up for a car. It was more of like, oh, I need the car right now. I have the money to pay for that. Might as well get it 'cause I
Getting-
need it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting
Well,
forced to be an
also-
adult.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh yeah, that
Vehicles or
and
tools.
also, yeah, that and also I financed it as well.
Mm.
So it's not real like I didn't save up. I'm borrowing someone's money. So
Right.
I don't think
That's
that really
true.
counts to me.
That's true. Okay, I can get that.
It's like if I didn't need a car, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have bought a car. It's like if I
Right.
live in New York, I'm like, no, subway all
Yeah.
the way.
I'm kind of figuring out that like having quote unquote luxury car is overrated.
Yeah,
It's like you especially using it as a daily driver. So it's
yeah.
just like
It's just where we live.
eh.
We just need
That
them.
yeah,
Sucks.
that's why I got my junk heap.
Yeah, it's like the nature of Southern California.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually kind of the nature of like a lot of
The US,
parts
yeah.
in the US. We're just like designed around
It's like the
roads.
highways. Yeah, it's like, I mean,
Yeah,
isn't that the
and
whole kind of idea
part
of freedom of driving?
yeah, and I think part of it is how big the states are. You know what I mean? Like when you think about like uh Europe, for instance, like there's countries in Europe that are the size of counties in states
Right.
that are part of the United States. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a little bit more like densely populated and easier to have good public transit, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, our
But yeah,
area
no, when I
has it
lived in San
okay.
Francisco, I didn't even bother taking my car with me. I left it at my parents' house.
I think
and
San Francisco is
just
like
took,
the
like, the bus
forefront
and-
of the United States for like transportation. That and
Eh,
New York.
East Coast, yeah. New York
People
is
don't
rough.
like people shit on it a lot,
It's
literally and like
yeah,
metaphorically.
accident.
Taking straight
Um,
up Duke
Literally,
Actually,
the bus.
like-
they do.
here's the like honestly, my entire time living in San Francisco, I didn't ever encounter like human excrement of any sort on like BART or the buses, the Muni. And I maybe encountered it like once or twice in the street.
Yeah, I can say I have. I
but
mean, I haven't been to and walked the streets that much, but I think I've counted like once or twice on the streets of.
but it's like talked about like it's an epidemic.
Right.
Like you can't take a BART ride anywhere in the
That-
city without stepping on some human fecal matter. And it's like that. Come on, guys. That's not.
Yeah,
That's an
I
exaggeration.
don't think I've ever seen it either. It's like I think one time I was in San Diego and I saw shit on the sidewalk and I was like, did a dog poop?"
Yeah,
Like
it was a
I
dog,
wasn't
yeah.
sure. Yeah, so it's like I don't know. We're not
Was
having
there
an
an
issue.
app that was like created like track like human feces?
Oh my god, that's
Francisco?
absolutely ridiculous.
It's like it
Yeah.
puts a marker down to show like human feces
the
here,
you know, like
and
not
like a
calling
timestamp.
You're
How
not
do you
calling
have
the
to te-
city to clean it up or anything. Just put a
Right,
marker
it's a
there
marker, yeah.
instead.
How do you test for that too?
I mean, part of the
actually-
problem, it's like looking at San Francisco on a like city sim video game level. It's like, oh, you just didn't put enough bathrooms.
yeah.
There's just not enough bathrooms anywhere. And
Yeah.
like a lot
So
of
people are just
buildings
crapping
just
all
don't
over the
have
place.
bathrooms. Or if they do have a bathroom, you're not allowed to use it. It's for employees only. And it's like, what are you gonna do?
You know what, San
Right.
Francisco? This sounds like your problem.
It is. It is their problem.
So what's going on? What's the good news?
Okay, are we,
Sergeant?
yeah, so are we moving on? Are we done with the icebreakers? Everybody said their piece about buying stuff.
There was, like,
I
games
think
and
when we
stuff,
move
right?
into the
Yeah.
poop conversation, we've pinnacled already.
We're
Yeah.
just moving
This is
out.
a-
All right.
Top.
Uh,
This is as good as this string gonna get.
Nvidia,
Oh,
the
Go on.
30 series Nvidia cards,
Oh.
sold out in seconds
Yep.
when they went live
oh yeah.
on retailers' websites. And most of those pre-orders, or were they pre-orders for the cards, or were they actually
Pre-orders.
I think.
I
they were
believe, yeah.
pre-orders, right?
Oh, they are.
Because
Wow.
It's
they're
pre-orders?
not like shipping out, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, those pre-orders are now up on eBay
Nice.
for lots of money. A lot more money than the cards were purchased for.
Mhm.
Right.
$10,000, $30,000. Oh my god.
goodness.
And this seems to be like a trend, an issue that pops up every time
Yep.
some kind of new tech comes out that is only
Mhm.
being produced in limited quantities.
Yeah. Well, it's not
It's
just
ju-
technically. It's not just tech. It's
Yeah.
pretty much any.
It's
good
everything, right? Yeah,
'Cause
like
so,
concert
like,
tickets get
concert
bought and sold
tickets,
by
toilet
scalpers.
paper,
Oh, yeah,
anything.
toilet paper. Yeah. Yeah. Recently, just hand sanitizer and toilet paper,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
That's
Remember
just
the
insane,
Crazy.
though. I'm so happy. There's like, and we talked about it when we first started the podcast. There's like probably a couple hundred people sitting somewhere in the United States, just sitting on hundreds of rolls of toilet paper, and they're
Oh, yeah,
like
they can't
effed.
sell.
You know, like
Yeah.
That
they're
makes me
probably
happy.
living in them. Yeah. Oh yeah.
John, tell me that story about a scalper.
Oh yeah,
a
the scalper that went on the news. I think it was like in somewhere in the south or the east coast. This guy he goes on the news to complain like, oh, I can't sell these things anymore because the government, told they prevented it or something. He couldn't return all the products, so he's like there on the news trying to sound like he's the victim in it. And I was like, no one's gonna buy that story.
Yeah,
It just made me
you're
so
not
happy.
getting my
Just like getting-
sympathy.
Yeah,
That's like when the cheater goes on the forum to go,
exactly.
I got banned. I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah,
I think
Unban
it
me,
was posted
please.
yeah, it was like post on Reddit, and I think that's
I didn't
exactly
know
what
this
people
was
compared it to.
considered cheating
Yeah.
or something.
absolutely
Playing
ridiculous.
dumb or something.
Well, and
Playing the
then
victim card.
was it
Ah.
you, Garrick, that posted about the guy that created a bot for the
Oh
people
no,
selling on
yeah.
eBay?
So there's some good news. There's a reason why, and the Nvidia, the new graphics cards are going for thousands of dollars, because so how it works,
So good news,
scalpers
that's funny.
have bots that automatically buy new tech. In this case, the graphics cards right off of the retailer, so no one gets a chance to buy it, and then they slap it directly on eBay. But the cool thing is that a good Samaritan somewhere on Reddit decided to make his own bot and slap it on eBay and use it to place hundreds of bids on each graphic card auction. So it costs thousands of dollars, so no one can really afford it. That way, it forces people to hold off, and it forces scalpers to not make money either.
The
So
hero we don't deserve.
Which I
Yeah.
was going to say, it is kind of like vigilante justice because technically it's probably not you know, allowed on eBay for you to
Yeah.
run bots that
Yeah.
are like maliciously running up bids.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
but
in
I
this
mean,
case,
they're
it's
doing
not
the same
malicious.
thing,
In this
yeah.
case, yeah, it's vigilant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
it's like,
they're
you
getting hit
know.
with the same thing that they did, and it's just
That's a-
like, yeah, fuck you guys.
that's a question about eBay because I never really use it. Is the scalping really? Are the bot scalpers really that bad in eBay where like things end up there so quickly just because scalpers are using bots to sell things and just like own
Yes.
the market?
I think it's like one of the worst areas for it, even though
one of
like
the worst.
eBay's safe to an extent. It also
Yeah.
has like some scummy areas. It's the closest
even
thing between
Amazon-
mixing black market and
Yeah.
the normal commerce on the internet.
Yeah, because Amazon
And like this
resellers
is
on
just
Amazon have the same problems too. It's not
That's
just
yeah,
true.
I was gonna
eBay.
say this is a tale as old as time. Like this happened with the PlayStation 3.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
True.
and you can go back farther and it probably happened with some thing that came out in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
It's just
like
easier now.
when there's a limited quantity of something and somebody has the means to purchase a large amount of them,
Yeah.
they're gonna do it and try to game the system.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm wondering how they could fix that too, because like honestly, the people that are making these, I wonder if they're using VPNs or what. But like, if they see an IP constantly pinging purchases, I think after, and this is something I was thinking about, because I know that smaller retailers probably buy it from bigger retailers as well and sell stuff. But like, I'm assuming for like the Nvidia cards, they maybe buy 10, right,
Yeah.
to sell at a time, whereas these bots are buying hundreds. So I'm wondering if like after a certain quantity you get locked in, because I think is there like a no return policy once they buy these? I don't think so. So if like people don't buy them, they can just like cancel the order and like be on with their lives. I think once it gets past a certain quantity, you're locked into that and it ties up their funds. That would be a smart way to like deal with that problem. And it's just like, okay, well, you're paying us no matter what, and you're going to get your product, but then you're stuck with them afterwards, like a no return policy at the supermarkets. That's how they solve the toilet
Yeah.
paper problem.
Yeah.
And then that
Yeah,
screws
like-
scalpers.
That's my
But-
question is like, is it worth retailers to care? Like,
Yeah.
because honestly,
And
it's
yeah.
like
Taking their money.
it's out of sight, out of mind. They made their money just kicking the thing down the bucket
Yeah.
down the road, or the can down the road.
And
So then maybe-
actually,
Good.
well, I was gonna say I'm gonna go ahead and bring in, and we're gonna infuse part of the next topic with the PS5 showcase, right? Where they put up the pre-orders for the PS5, and those also got sold out, right? But Sony has put out a statement that is basically like, sorry, we're going to try to make it easier and better, the rollout better, and prevent this. And also part of the issue, not to go into it too deeply, but with the PlayStation, they were really inconsistent about what time pre-orders went live, and they let all the retailers handle it on their own. So there was no consistent, message about when it was going to go live, unlike
And the
the
announcement
Nvidia
was
stuff.
only a Twitter announcement.
Yeah. But to get back to my point and to Garrick's point, right? Sony has already put out a statement, and I saw somebody on Reddit talking about it. They brought up a good point of like, Sony makes most of their money on software, right? And the companies selling graphics cards have made their money on their graphics card.
Yeah.
They're done, right? The item is out the door. They've made their money. They don't care anymore, right? Whereas Sony, they need to get these platforms into consumer hands at a reasonable price, so they start buying software.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's like different motivations, and that
Okay.
is influencing the response that we're seeing in
That
the
makes
two
sense.
different cases.
Yeah, that makes
Right.
a lot of sense, actually.
I'm not sure how bad the scalping is in the PlayStation 5 situation, because I haven't really seen any articles or anything about it. And most of the kind of like hubbub about that seems to just be the inconsistency as to the rollout and people not knowing when they can get it. But to go back to the like scalping thing, that's a tough one, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do you deal with it? I thought about I had an idea for the PlayStation where potentially you could only make a PlayStation 5, and again, this is done, it depends on how it's done through like retailers, right? Because like obviously this idea doesn't work unless you're buying directly through PlayStation. But you have to log into your PSN account and you get a pre-order, and it's only one per PSN account.
Yeah.
And you have to have a PlayStation Plus subscription, a current PlayStation Plus subscription, to make the pre-order.
That would make sense. And it's like, if
And
you
that way it's both giving it to the like, regular players, right? Your consumers who are likely going to pick up the console to make a bunch of purchases on it, while also gatekeeping, potentially gatekeeping, right? I'm not saying that's not possible for somebody to make a bot that just makes a bunch of PSN profiles and buys or like somehow starts like 1 month trial, or I could see a way somebody could get around it.
it slows the process
But-
though, and it makes it less
Exactly.
accessible to everybody. You have, instead of having hundreds of people doing it, you'll have like a dozen or so that are willing to go through that coding process. So it's just some sort of like barrier entry to being scummy. I don't understand that logic. Like, the same thing happens in retail stores. People go in and buy stuff for dirt cheap and resell it for higher whenever there's sales, and it's just like, just work a normal job. Like, why do you have to rip people off? I don't get it. It irritates me thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's business too. It's because like it's the same thing with 99-cent store stuff. That's literally what they're doing. Is they're buying stuff from China that's sold for even cheaper in bulk, because and reselling it to us. That it's cheap, but it's super cheap for them to buy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same
I mean,
concept. So
I
can
get
see
that as well,
that
but it's a
mentality.
brick and mortar that's paying a business license to do that. And it's like, then you go into the whole argument, blah blah blah, business versus individuals, but like the way that it's being done is scummy, very scummy. Whereas like we all know, we're going into a store and they paid dimes for what we're paying, $2-3 for, or $5, $10, whatever. We're aware of that because like they have to make money, but these are individuals that are just going out and screwing over people because they're desperate. Like, someone really wants that PlayStation 5 and they're willing to pay over $1,000 for it. and I think that's almost as bad because they're dumb enough to fall for that. No offense to the people that really want them that badly, or I mean, if you have the money, go for it.
Yeah, you have money.
If you don't give a shit and you can drop 2,000 like that, go for it, man. But the people that don't, and that's their like they've been looking forward to this for years, and they're giving up a lot in order to be able to do this. That's fucked up. I don't know. It's a touchy subject for me. I don't like the idea of it at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a little indifferent towards it because it's like, just wait, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, oh no, you didn't get the first set of pre-orders. It's not like there's not gonna ever be enough PlayStation 5s for you to buy.
Yeah.
And maybe it's kind of like, with the perspective of the world around us right now, where it's like, hey man, maybe getting a PS5 on day one is not the biggest concern in the world, or it shouldn't be the biggest concern in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but I mean, like
it's not the end of the world. Just wait until there's more consistent amounts on the shelves and you can get yourself one.
right. And I agree with that 1,000%. But sometimes, like, that's because, like, people that are super busy and maybe they're working all the time and that's their only refuge is their PlayStation or their Xbox or their PC. I
But
get
like
it to
their
an
PlayStation
extent.
4 is still going to be there. Like,
It is, but
just
what do they
because the
want?
PlayStation 5 came out doesn't mean that there's not good experiences to be had on the console you already have.
Right. No.
Right. And I kind of hate this notion that the second the new console comes out, the previous iteration becomes entirely obsolete,
Oh, for sure.
because it's not the case for a lot of people, especially low income people.
Right. No, I trust me. I'm totally on board with you. I'm not buying a PlayStation 5 right when it comes out. Period. I might not even get one at all. I don't know yet, but I'm just playing devil's advocate for the people that like are in that mindset. Like this is their lives. They want that new thing because that's all they ever get for themselves is that new item that comes out. Like I know I've known people that literally just buy the new console with some games and that's all they buy. That's their leisure money, and it's very little of it, but this takes away from them, and it doesn't need to. There shouldn't be this problem, but once again there is, and I guess that's reality of the situation.
Yeah. Well, the problem, the reason why there is a problem, this problem at least, is because people are
Because of
willing
those
to go
people.
out and
Yeah.
buy, pay for 3, 4, 5 times the price of it.
If everybody would just stand their ground and not pay what it's not worth, right, then we wouldn't have this issue. But the
Right.
fact that scalpers
Yeah.
are able to mark it up 3 times and make and sell them,
There's always going to be
Oh, yeah, there's-
someone looking for something.
There's two sides to every coin, so I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same concept. Like, scalpers aside, it's this. We've had the same conversation with like the crappy job that EA has done with their games that they've published, like the control that they put in. But everybody complains about it, but no one's doing anything about it because they still want to buy the games. So it just goes around full circle. Nothing's gonna change. Yeah, bless you.
The problem
So-
with EA is they have such a wide range that, and they get themselves into everything. Like, we're big proponents of Game Pass here, and we all have it, and it's a fantastic thing. It's nice, and it's good for a lot of different people. But then EA slipped into it, and now the price on the beta, or the beta's ending for the Game Pass on the PC, and it's going up to $9.99 a month. But the caveat is you're going to be having EA Play in the next couple months paired with that, which is a $5 value. You're essentially getting it.
Oh wow.
You're paying for that and then still paying the $5 for Microsoft, however you want to look at it. But that's slipping them into that economy now. And it's like now that's helping them.
mean,
Not
I don't want to talk too much about EA because we always do, but so doubling back that thought that PJ just made, because EA is everywhere, so are scalpers. That like what they're offering to everyone, like there's always something for someone that needs something, if
Right.
that makes sense. So
Yeah.
scalpers will always be around because someone is always desperate enough to pay the premium price.
Scalpers
And-
are like the drug dealers of the merchandising world, aren't
Yeah,
they?
it's very scummy,
I mean-
but there's a
yeah,
business. It's a
there's
business.
to it. Yeah. So
That's what it feels like.
It's
You get
just-
that person that has like the itch, and they're like trying. They had like ticks and stuff, and like, do you have the stuff, man? You know.
yeah.
It's-
I mean, think
it's
of it as a
kinda-
convenience fee, pretty much. You know, it's like
It
I'll
also
get you this.
seems like weird when it comes to like pre-orders for stuff like this, right? Because it's like, unlike, okay, let's say like a concert ticket, right? Kanye West is coming to whatever the hell amphitheater in your hometown, right?
Yeah.
And tickets are sold out, right? This is your one chance to ever see Kanye West live, because he's never going to come to your podunk town ever again,
Yeah.
right? So you're desperate to get these tickets, which make the value go up for scalpers, right? There's going to be more Nvidia 30 series cards.
Oh, for sure.
They're going to make more, and they're going to come out probably pretty soon.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like the idea, like, that people, basically where I'm coming from is why are you even desperate?
I'm gonna even
Yeah.
argue the fact that the 30 series isn't even in like ready for. We're not ready for it yet. There's nothing that needs that power right now. The next
But-
generation of games, yes, but like there's no. You'll be.
It is
plenty
a very
fine.
good value. The 30 series is an incredible value.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
better than the 20 series cards and cheaper.
And that's fine. But they're like, if you already have, specifically the people that already have the 20 series, why are you killing yourself to get a 30 series when there's not going to be a game out for at least a year that necessarily even touches the power that that thing has?
Precious.
You know, and those people are going to be paying these scalpers the stupid amounts of money that they want. They don't need it. I don't know. It just makes no sense to me. Do not need it right now. The 20 series are perfectly fine, and they're getting cheaper. I don't know. Once again, touchy subject for me. It irritates me.
All right. Well, let's finish our discussion about scalpers, unless anybody has anything else to say,
Stop it.
and move on to the price of these PlayStation
Oh wow.
consoles. We got $399 for the no disk drive model, $499 for the one with a disk drive.
Okay.
Who thought of the
um,
word disc full?
Discord.
I put that on.
Okay, I like that. I like discless and disc full.
Yeah,
That's-
like
Full of
it's
discs.
funny.
Yeah.
You can put a disc
What's
in it.
funny is that people are always have trouble. Like when you hear it on announcements or something, or like
How do you
YouTube
refer
videos,
to
like,
it?
Yeah. So there's one that's discless, and there's one
with
that's
the drive?
that has discs or discless full.
A
I think-
Blu-ray disc drive.
I feel like disc full needs to be a word and
Yeah.
put into the dictionary. But that's
Especially
fantastic.
in
Anyway.
a day and age when there's like no headphone jack or no disc
Oh yeah.
thing,
Jack full.
like jack full,
Jacklist. Yeah.
full of
Yes.
jack.
We need more of
iPhones are
that.
Jacklist.
Anyhow, thank you for that laugh, though.
2 points I want to bring up about this. First one, price. The top end is the same price as the Xbox Series X.
That's the low end, correct?
The discless model. I'm sorry, what?
That's the low
Sorry,
end
that's-
of the Xbox.
No,
Oh,
it's the
that's-
high. So the Xbox SKUs are $499 and $299. I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because the model. Somebody fact check that for me while I'm talking. But
I'll check
the
right now.
Model S is significantly weaker. Like it doesn't run games at 4K and stuff like that. So it's significantly cheaper.
$299. You're correct.
Whereas like $299, yeah. So whereas like with the PlayStation here, the disk drive lacking model is
Diskless?
still a PlayStation 5, right? The diskless model is still a PlayStation 5, right? Which means that $100 for a Blu-ray disc drive.
Way.
Wow.
Well, and it's exactly what I
Does
said they
that-
were going to possibly do is stick it right between the
Right.
price range.
Yeah. Well,
But still, doesn't that seem like a bit much for a drive?
Oh, it's very stupid.
yeah, I
but
think it's just like a free
grab,
money grab. Like I don't know
Right.
how much are disc
Well,
drives by themselves, like Blu-ray. drives or
Blu-ray
something?
probably $60-$70. So it's there. I mean, I'm not saying that.
Oh, really? Are
That's not
they that
warranted.
expensive?
Yeah,
I'll
Blu-ray
look
drives
right
are
now and
pretty-
tell you,
pretty
but
pricey.
they're up.
about
I was
60.
thinking they're in like the $40 range, but I might be
No,
wrong.
that's a
Still, they're
DVD
getting
player.
them for cheaper because they're
Oh, yeah.
getting OEMs.
Oh yeah.
So-
definitely.
Oh yeah.
But to add, I think this is a great move for the PlayStation for Sony to do 2 SKUs because the $399 disc-less version is in the perfect price point to compete with the Switch, the Nintendo Switch.
The Switch.
So
So
because for the most part, Nintendo hasn't really had too much competition in the way of that price point.
So a Sony Blu-ray player is averaging around $70-$80. So if
Oh
you
my
think
God.
about
Okay.
the software to be able
Okay.
to like play games
My
that they've
heart.
incorporate, that makes sense.
We'll go on.
So I am on board with that $100 price range. Doesn't mean
Sure.
I will pay it.
But that goes back to the idea of like you won't be able to play any of your PS4 games that you have on disc then
But I have the
because
PlayStation
you didn't get
4
one with
still.
the disc drive.
Like if you keep your old consoles, that's not even a concern.
Oh, yeah. But a lot
But
of
I
people
mean,
can't do that. They sell their
like,
games with the
yeah,
console.
and like even me, I'm probably not gonna get rid of my PS4 whenever I get a PS5, but I don't have like room on my desk for it. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna get put away somewhere.
Right.
So, and
I'm a
like
collector, so I keep it all, and then if I want to play an old game, I'll just bring it out. That's how I am. Like I just
right.
put.
I suppose it
another
depends on
console away.
how often you're playing PS4 games,
That's
right?
true.
Like I play Bloodborne constantly, right? And it may be a bad example because I have Bloodborne on digital now, but I had it on disc at one point. And if I still only had it on disc, then it would be annoying to have to drag my PlayStation 4 out every time I wanted to play Bloodborne.
Right. Yeah, I think the person that's like selling their the old PlayStation for the new one also probably doesn't care for the old games and just want to play new games too.
Yeah, that's like another point, right? Is like how many old games are people actually going to be playing? And I wonder if they have like stats somewhere that show like I wonder how many people play a majority of their games digital nowadays. Anyway, right? Like
As a PC player, it's like 100%. You know.
right on PC, you haven't even really been able to get a physical PC game for
Yeah.
like a decade,
Mhm.
right? Like I think the last physical copy of a PC game I got was like Guild Wars 2, and they came out in 2011, I think.
Yeah. It's been a long
or maybe
time.
Diablo in 2012.
I think you can only get them if they're like a low end crap-tastic game that you get at like Office Depot or something. It's true. Like legit going into Office Depot, you see all these like really low tier like Mavis Beacon games.
Mavis Beacon.
Yeah. I mean, it's still around. It's not great, but it's still around. You can get free games that do the same exact thing on just going online. But anyhow, I don't know. I'm indifferent towards it because like I don't need the disc option. Like I said, I keep the old consoles. But for anybody that wants to do the backwards compatibility, it's a good value. Or it's like it's on par. It makes sense, and you get a Blu-ray player out of it. So, and if you're the type of person that's like, oh, I just like my room being clean and having all my consoles plugged in, and maybe you're trading in your old PlayStation 4 to get this, go for it. You're not getting gouged by any means. I think PlayStation is very fair with their pricing on this.
All right. Well,
Are you
I
a
think
wizard,
that's all.
Joey?
Am I a wizard? I don't
so.
know. I don't think I can
So,
handle
Joey.
being a wizard. Have you seen that forest with all those spiders?
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, just don't go towards the forest, man.
Yeah.
Just
Also, you got spells.
Nah.
You got magical
Mhm.
spells to deal with that. You can like
You still have to look
get...
at the spider to cast your spell at said spider.
no, you could put an arachno shield around you, man.
Arachno shield.
It's not gonna stop you from seeing the spider.
Just
No,
giant spider spray.
no, you go
It's
to
like
Fred
spiders
and
are like an eldritch horror that if I see, my mind just can't comprehend.
you go to
and I
Fred
go
and
crazy.
George's store, and then you get the glasses that they sell that change. You put a spell on them to change spiders into giant bunny rabbits. Yeah, you
That's
put
pretty awesome.
arachnophobic mode on. But sorry,
How would they even
What
do
is
an
going on?
arachnophobia
I don't
mode in
know.
that game?
I had to
Anyway,
make the point.
we're talking, of
Yo,
course,
what's the
about
Jimmy?
Hogwarts Legacy,
Wow.
the new open world action RPG that's been announced for current gen
Everything.
and next gen and PC, coming out in 2021. This got like leaked a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but like somebody leaked, I don't remember where it was leaked even, but they were like, the story was like, hey, I was at the mall or something, and a WB rep was like, hey, we're doing a focus test. Do you want to come look at this game or whatever? Here, sign this NDA.
And then he broke
And
it.
they like
Wow.
captured footage of it and stuff and like
Wow.
leaked it on the internet.
Glad
I don't
that
know if that
contract
story is
held
exactly
true.
right. Yeah.
Um,
All right.
And that guy's gonna be sued big
Yeah,
time.
I know some random guy in the mall wouldn't be beholden to an NDA you made him sign. Weird, right?
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I'm not entirely sure that story is exactly correct because I'm just like remembering it from when I saw that leak forever ago. But anyway, this is that game.
Oh wow.
Open world action RPG, set in the 1800s, in the like Harry Potter universe.
It,
I don't.
It looks nice.
It looks, yeah, it looks
looks-
pretty.
It looks beautiful.
I think in this case it's gonna really depend on how it play, because there's
Yeah.
a lot of direction the Harry Potter game can go in gameplay, and well, I think we need to see like hard gameplay to really know
Yeah.
whether or not this is gonna be cool.
Yeah, because this could be
But-
all just straight up cinematic, or I mean, it could be rendered in engine, but I think it is.
Or it could be their shitty mobile version that they made like a year ago or something like that.
Right.
It's just like
I feel
yeah,
like
so-
Harry Potter's always been that like bait and switch type of situation. It's like they'll do a good job with cutscenes, but then the end game is like it tears and it looks horrible, and it's just like I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I
it's
know,
the
because
worst
there's-
out there, but it's not
yeah,
the
because
greatest.
I'm a huge fan of like the Harry Potter series, and as a kid,
Yeah.
like playing the first 2 or 3 Harry Potter games, they were the best games, but they were like really well done. That was for a kids game, so it's like,
Mhm.
and that's always been my dream. Like dream game was to be like just a normal student, not Harry Potter, just a normal
I could
student.
be a wizard
However,
too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you become a wizard and do the classes and stuff.
I
That's what I've always wanted in a Harry Potter game.
and I
this
agree with
looks
you
like it.
because I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but I would love to be more immersed into the world and
Yeah.
and the universe of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
So I think I hope they do this right, because if it looks nice enough, I'll definitely invest in it if I get the PS5.
It's on all the consoles. But yeah.
It'll be
Oh, all the
everywhere.
consoles?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
you
play it
got
on
this on
PC.
PC if you want.
Just get the PS5.
Okay.
It's like
Okay.
honestly,
I'll watch.
it's like I
I'll
would
watch
be
some gameplay.
stoked. It's like if the game had you like go to class and stuff, I kind of want that. It's like it's just a boring, not boring, but it's like boring in the sense of it's like
I
a wizard
feel
going to
like
school kind of thing.
I
You just
can
go to
imagine
class,
you
learn
geeking
spells.
out, like going
Yeah,
to
I would love that.
Universal Studios when they reopen and grabbing a Hogwarts robe and then
Oh
like
yeah, dude, yeah,
sitting
like,
there with
Yeah.
glasses and everything, just like Harry
Like the
Potter.
immersion.
yeah, the Hogwarts land in Universal Studios. Like I geeked out. I was like, holy crap, this is.
Yeah.
I did too
It's
the
like
first time I
living
went there.
in
I
it.
Like
was
your
very,
childhood
like-
right
Yeah.
there. You're reliving your childhood
like-
dream.
Yeah, it's like
Uh,
I don't want to be a Harry Potter, like, the chosen one.
So-
I just want to be living in the universe.
So they need to add VR so they can do the spell. They
Son.
have to yell out the
Yeah.
spells
Yeah.
and actually do the wand movements.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever play the Harry Potter game on the PC?
No.
I
Is
Is
played
it the one that you were
first and
talking about,
second
the
one.
first one?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember how when you went to class to learn your spells, you had to like trace the spells out with the
Yes,
mouse?
Yes.
That was like the dopest thing
I
to
loved
like
it.
7-year-old me.
Yep, it was. And I think like the 5th and on, they turn it into like a pew pew shooter. It's like with no. Like,
Yeah, they
Oh,
totally
one.
do.
It was so dumb.
That's
Like, what?
sad.
Did any of you guys ever play the Game Boy version
no.
of the first movies
No.
book,
How was that?
whatever you want to call it? It was a
Yeah,
turn-based RPG,
Oh,
and it's awesome.
I think
oh.
I remember
Yeah.
that one.
Well,
It's like
yeah,
super cool.
I remember every console or every different console version of the games were completely different because I was on the PC and I went to a friend's house to play Harry Potter on I think it's PlayStation and it was a completely different experience.
Oh yeah,
It's weird.
that was weird. I think it's just like they were trying to match it to the console and like the
Right, I guess
gamer
you can't
base or
trace stuff
something.
on yeah you can't trace like the spells on the
Right, like you
non-spell
would use
keyboard.
the sticks instead, which was horrible, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when they came out with the DS version that it was like meant to
Huh.
be. Because like you could actually draw on the lower screen. It was
Right.
fantastic. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of the Harry Potter games, though. Oddly enough, I don't like the stealth aspects to it. It felt like they were trying to shoehorn in a Splinter Cell game into Harry Potter. Maybe
Well,
that's
yeah,
just me.
that's the thing is, but towards the like middle to end of them, they kind of became like third-person stealth action games.
Well, no, but this was a
Like-
Chamber of Secrets game, the second one that they had released. You know, like they still had some stealth in it. Like
Remember the
you'd sneak
only
around the
stealth-
library and everything.
Yeah.
And I was not a fan.
I remember
of
that being like an action puzzle game.
I remember the only
most
stealth that
portions
I remember
of it.
was sneaking into Slytherin's common room with the Polyjuice.
There's a few times that you did it. There's just I
Okay.
did not like those, but it wasn't. None of them were bad. They're mediocre games, just not for me, I guess.
Well, they're like movie games,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty good for
And like
movies.
typically their movie games are produced quickly, and with the movie in mind,
Right.
so they tend not to be that great.
Right.
But
I think Harry Potter was one of the few exceptions to that, though. I think they're actually like it's a legitimate game. If the book and the movies didn't exist, it still would be a decent game. But the thing that actually sold it was obviously the name.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so yeah, we'll have to see more of this
Oh yeah.
Harry Potter game, because yeah, I mean the trailer's cool or whatever, but like again, when it comes to trailers that are just kind of
Yeah.
rendered in engine,
I mean, even some of the
It's
trailer were
very
kind
deceiving.
of stuttery. It's like, is that just like bad in-game rendering or what's
It's
going on
like dying.
there? Yeah.
So,
we'll see.
are you excited for the next one, Joey?
yes. The next thing we're going to talk
The next
about
one?
is the Demon Souls remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what they're calling it officially,
Wow.
but it's really more of a remake than a remaster. Anyway, they finally showed gameplay for it during the PlayStation 5 showcase. This one is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It will not be on anything else.
Oh, awkward.
No PC, no other consoles. And yeah, there's kind of a hubbub about that because I guess at the end of the trailer, the wording was kind of confusing and a lot of people thought it was coming to PC, and they had to come out and make a statement that was like, no, PlayStation 5 only. Gotta buy a PlayStation 5 if you want to play this thing.
All the rhetoric that I'm
But-
seeing is saying remake. But
Okay.
that's third party. Like everybody, like PlayStation specifically is just calling it Demon Souls. So I think they're gonna probably label it like Demon Souls 2020 or 2021, whatever year is coming out.
Yeah. Anyway, you can go watch gameplay for that. They show a pretty lengthy gameplay segment.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
Looks really pretty.
Yeah, I've never played.
Very
the first
beautiful,
Demon's
too.
Souls, but
I also have actually never played Demon
oh
Souls.
really? Okay, I've seen
Right,
some
yeah.
footage, but I feel
A
like
lot of people
this-
haven't played Demon
Oh
Souls.
really? Okay, because I feel like
Yeah.
this footage, like it looks much more fluid. Because the footage I've seen from the old Demon Souls, the original, it's very janky. The animation
Yeah.
is very janky. Like I know the combat seems very sluggish, but this looks very smooth.
Yeah, it looks
that what I'm
like
seeing correctly?
Blue Point Yeah, it looks like Blue Point put a lot of work into improving the camera and the animations to make those feel a lot smoother. Because yeah, like the original Demon Souls is really janky in the
I mean, even for a
animation
lot
front.
of the Souls game, like the what's the other one, the Dark Souls, I think.
Yeah,
Even
Dark
those
Souls.
games turn me off just because of how janky the animations were.
Yeah,
I just, but this looks
definitely.
Yeah.
smooth. I'm like, wow.
I'm more
surprised.
distracted by how beautiful it looks
Yeah,
because
it's
like
pretty.
midway through when he's fighting through a corridor, the lighting is like reflecting off of his armor and onto the wall. So every time he moves, the lighting
That's like
shifts
nice.
very subtly. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
All
I
the
love
Souls
it.
games are striking. They really are. Like, I feel like they're the epitome of what like PlayStation has to offer as far as aesthetics go, and like
Yeah.
the
The
world,
movie.
the
Yeah.
world building is fantastic too. I'm not a huge Souls fan. I played Bloodborne a little bit, and it infuriated me to the maximum extent. But I even had to admit that like you were stepping into a different universe when you played that game.
So I wanted to bounce off of this because yeah, it looks pretty and all of that, but with it being a remake, I wanted to ask, where do you guys think the line should be drawn when it comes to taking creative liberties about changing things,
So
right?
instead of it being a remake, is it?
Well, like a direct remake in terms of like. So I'm gonna bring up some reference or some points here directly with Dark or Demon Souls. Uh, there looks like there might be some new areas, like they've added additional areas to existing maps. There's also the potential that they're going to finish an area that got cut from the original game.
I like that.
And then design wise, aesthetically, there's been a lot of changes in terms of lighting and coloring. And more specifically, with like enemy models, there's been some enemy models that have been changed thematically, right? So we're talking like changing something from a fleshy amalgamation of body parts to a stone monster.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Same shape, right? Same design technically, but different thematically, right? And this has created a lot of issue with a lot of people because they're like, what are you doing? You're like, the game had a tone, and now by like changing these aesthetics, you're changing the tone.
Right.
What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's okay for a studio to do, especially if it's a studio that's not the original studio who made the
it's
game?
not. Ooh.
No, it's
Oh,
being
see, that makes a difference.
Well, I mean, it's like technically it's weird, right? Because
Yeah.
this isn't being done by FromSoft, but it's being published through what is it, Team Japan or whatever, the
original publishers, right?
Yeah, the like Sony team,
Okay.
right, that developed the original game with FromSoft.
That's tough.
Right? And it's also being done through Blue Point, who made like which Blue Point does great work, right? They made the Shadow of the Colossus remake, and I think they've been working on this since they put that out.
And they did a really good job with that. I can like 100% say, because I played it. I think I played it twice after, and I played the original one 2 or 3 times too. There's two sides to that. You can argue that it's a new studio that wants to put their vision and feel into the game to give you a different world, or you can argue they shouldn't change the rhetoric from the original and they're only there to remake the game and make it look prettier and the glory that initially was. I think it's cool to see another. It's like taking someone's art and putting your spin on it, and I think it's cool that they did that. But it it has to be done right and tastefully, whereas like you can't take something that everyone loved and thought was cool, like you said it was fleshy creature and everyone obviously thought that was an awesome concept, and then change it into something that everyone hates. You got to do the research if you're going to do that, especially if you're a fanboy of the situation, and be like, okay, everyone loved this boss, let's just make it look gorgeous, but everyone hated this one. What could we do to make this better? That's where you have to draw that line and make sure that you're doing it to the scale of what a person that like yourself, if you're a fan, would want. So I don't know. That's my perspective of it, but you have to do the research 1000%.
And the thing with that enemy specifically is it's not necessarily like a good or bad or like a better or worse. It's about the tonal change, right? The thematic change. Because a lot of, and it's kind of hard to articulate if you're not a person who's played a bunch of these games before, right? But a lot of what makes the like world special is the amount of detail that goes into the world building.
Oh no, I kind of
right?
get what you're saying. That's
And,
like
like-
basically taking Charmander from Pokemon and making him a grass type. It's like it doesn't make sense.
Well, no, it's more like you walk into a hospital where they're like in the original they did this like thing and then now in this one they do a different thing. It's like you're altering the story
Okay, I guess I can
in
get that.
because like a lot of the story in these games is the like world. It's the things that you see, it's the enemies you encounter, and it's the descriptions on the items that you get, right? And by like changing the designs so like vastly changes the tone of the area potentially. Now we haven't seen enough of it to really know exactly.
Well, it's like
but-
it's one boss so far. Like,
No, it's not a boss. It's just a random enemy.
oh,
I mean, I think
that's a different story. I think that's kind of
Yeah.
weird to fight
it's not
for
the
that.
same. It's not the same game,
But
but
that's the thing is it's hard. So you don't understand because
Right.
you haven't played these games, right?
I
So
think-
like
Yeah,
just changing a random enemy into a stone thing instead seems innocuous on the surface.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's tonally and thematically changing the story of the area potentially
yeah,
Yeah.
and changing the story of the game.
yeah.
that's what I kind of think that 343 did with Halo, with the Forerunners architecture and artwork.
I can get on board
is-
with that.
Yeah.
That's my biggest complaint about 343's like artwork. With the Forerunners, like Bungie made it really like ancient but also advanced, where 343 made it look all neon
Just
and kind of
chrome
like super
and
super chrome,
ridiculous.
super futuristic. Where it's like that doesn't feel like what Forerunners
It
are.
lost its character.
Yeah.
Right, and
It
that's
became like crazy like super future tech,
Yeah,
whereas
it's
like
I don't like that. That's not
it's
how
the
supposed to be like
tone of the
future
originals was
Aztec.
like yes, it was
exactly.
like ancient future.
Yeah.
Right. And so that lends to my point. If you're going to make a change, do the research to figure out in what way you can make that change still lend itself to the original. You have to in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to make, like I said, if you're going to make a change, it has to be for the better of the community. I don't know. I feel like you have to have at least one person that's sitting there that loved the original so much that they have to be able to pass a judgment and say that I agree with it. And I know everyone's taste is different, but generally speaking, if you get a super fanboy, they're more than likely going to go with the community's thought. Possible. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass at this point, but that's what it feels like. You have to have people that are sitting there giving you that judgment too, just not a studio that are like, oh yeah, that looks cool. Because what is that lending to the game other than it looks pretty?
It's probably like it's like a new company, right? So it's probably just like their art directions. Like, oh no, we think this is a better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
You
the-
have to have someone that's sitting there like, that's not true to the original. Like,
Yeah.
thank you. We appreciate your feedback. You're annoying as hell, but we appreciate your feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Personally for me, in terms of new areas, I'm kind of fine with new
Yeah,
areas.
I think gameplay,
Like
if
if
it's
you want,
improving
You're adding.
games,
to an old
if you're
game.
adding, it's fine,
levels.
right?
Yeah.
So
When it comes to like designs of things, I want things to be one to one.
Mhm.
I want you to make a new version of the old thing.
right. So a
Right.
smarter thing for them to do is
Because-
keep that original creature and then put that new creature that they made into the
Level.
new area they made. Why would they not do
Yeah.
that?
Because personally, I really think it's cool to see the old things like reimagined as closely as possible in a new engine. And I think doing a new design is kind of boring because it's easy to do a new design, but like to try to replicate the original one for one, I think is more interesting.
Yeah, because then at that
When
point, you're trying to
we're talking about a remake,
make it
right?
work in your engine rather than just like, oh, it didn't work. Let's just make whatever we have to do work.
Now, if it's like a sequel and you're encountering the same enemies, make them different. Because in that case, I want to see where we've gone.
Like
right?
how they evolved
Like,
or stuff like
Build
that.
on the world by how these enemies have changed. Don't just give me the same things again.
Okay, that makes
But
sense.
if it's like literally a remake, I want a remake.
Yeah.
In terms of like design, right?
I can get on
And
board
art
with that.
direction and character design and stuff like that. Okay, we're gonna move on to the final thing from the PS5 showcase that we're
wow.
gonna talk about, because there were some other things, like they showed the Spider-Man Miles
Oh,
Morales.
why didn't we talk
which
about that?
looks,
Can we touch on that?
I don't know,
I
man.
have one
It looks
comment.
good.
Oh, so
It looks good.
touchy.
I have one
Go
comment.
for it. All right,
But
we'll
you know
fit
how
in
all
there.
those superhero things are like pretty much like determined, like rescue this person because it's like pretty much you're playing a movie, right? When can they have a superhero movie where you just kind of just wing it, like you have different ways of saving people, you know? It's like you don't have to
yeah.
do the button mashing. It's like, what if I don't want to, spider web the bridge together, but I want to like individually, I don't know, slingshot.
You're not getting
the bridge
prompted.
trains in there.
You're
You know what I mean?
choosing
Yeah.
different.
It's like I don't get to choose how to
Well,
rescue
yeah,
these people.
and
I wanna
open
see
it.
that.
It's like you mean like Hitman, but for
Yeah,
And
it's like-
Spider-Man.
Breath
yeah,
of the
but for-
Wild.
yeah, but rescuing people, it's like I'm seeing it looks really cool. The game looks really cool, but it's like I kind of wish I could be Spider-Man and choose how I want to.
That'd be kind of.
Yeah,
That'd be
multiple
interesting.
options.
Yeah.
That would almost be like one of those books, the adventure books. It's like turn to
Yeah.
page 72 to see how this turns out.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of part of the reason I put it on here is because it's pretty Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
I just gotta
Like,
say,
it's
like,
not
I
really-
like the character, the way that they went
Yeah.
with.
Yeah,
Miles.
the
like
character.
Miles.
That's the thing I'll say is like the story in this Spider-Man series, the like Sony PlayStation Spider-Man franchise, is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I think that the Spider-Man PS4 is my favorite iteration of Peter Parker and all of those characters in general, of like any of the like other games or movies or TV series or any of the comics I've read.
Well, they even
And I want to see more in that universe.
to even go
But
further.
at the end of the day, it's more Spider-Man.
Right, that's true. But to even go further, I think Miles is a much more interesting character than Peter, in general. Like,
Yeah.
I loved Into the Spider-Verse, and just
Oh,
sitting there seeing them side by side, and you're like, God, Peter, like, you're just
Well,
you're
he's
just
old. He's old
a
Peter.
random smart kid. I really don't give a shit about you. Like,
Well, I don't know. They told a really compelling story in the first one about his like difficulties to juggle the like
Yeah.
different aspects of his life,
being a
and
Spider-Man and
I
Peter
think it's
Parker.
just Peter Parker's been beat to the ground too much. It's like I'm so tired of that same origin story. So I guess I'm not shitting.
well, that's why
on-
you don't get it in that game.
No, I know. And
That's why he's like 25 or something in that game.
right. And I'm just trying to say, like, to redeem, because like I love Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong, he is one of my favorite heroes. I'm shitting on Peter Parker because I'm just tired of them rebooting it. So I'm happy to see Miles
Peter.
being portrayed more, and like hopefully they don't crap all over that and they move on to Gwen on the next like you know, in the next few years, because I'd love to see Gwen more elaborated out too. 'Cause I think she's a really compelling and interesting character. But anyhow, move back on to the next one. I loved the trailer. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I want to do superhero stuff.
Okay. Garrick, do you want to say anything about Spider-Man before we move on to Final Fantasy?
Not really. I'm not really like big on that. I mean, as far as like the game, I haven't
The,
really
like,
played too
open
many
world.
Spider-Man. Yeah, like
Well,
so I can't really comment on it too much, but I played it like in the PS2, I believe, era. So I played it a couple times, but haven't really came back to it. So we'll see how it goes. No big comments on the upcoming one.
Okay.
But
we're gonna
I
move
love
on to Final Fan-
Miles
Yep.
Morales though. I love the character, so that's all I want to say.
Yeah, and it's cool that the follow-up is like highlighting him as a character
Yeah, so cool.
rather than just doing Peter again.
I'm s-
Tina Parker.
They're doing a Into the Spider-Verse too, right?
Yeah,
Can't wait for that.
I know. Excited.
I can't wait.
To the wonderful world of
Okay.
fantasy.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful
Final Fantasy 16
Wow.
Awakening trailer. That's what it's called.
Oh, what?
I don't think the game's
Oh,
not
wow.
called Final Fantasy
Sean
16
just woke up.
Awakening. This is just called the Awakening trailer.
I did kind of fall asleep during the trailer too.
Oh, really?
Awkward.
It
That
Final
does the
Fantasy?
opposite of what it's trying to tell you
Yeah.
to do.
It looks like it's going back to more of a like swords and like, you know, medieval type of aesthetic from Final Fantasy 15's boy band with guns in their hot rod.
Wait, was that really? What?
I mean, like,
Sorry, I'm not familiar
basically,
with the Final Fantasy stuff.
yeah,
Sounds
like,
funny.
yeah, in Final Fantasy 15, you play as a group of boys, and one of them's a prince, I think, and they have a cool car, and you drive around
Wait,
the
what?
desert.
Okay.
That's all I know about Final Fantasy 15. But
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy
Interesting.
16, yeah, I don't know. It looks like it looks like it's primarily an action game.
yeah.
Looks like it's taking like tone or like cues from Final Fantasy VII Remake, maybe even more on the action side. Like it straight up looks like a character action game. And cutscene wise, it looks like there's kind of a darker tone. Like there's some violence,
Nice,
there's
nice,
blood
good
in this
balance.
trailer.
Yeah, the blood splat
blood.
on the kid's face is like, whoa.
Nice, classic.
Oh yeah.
And then he turns into a giant demon thing.
So, what do you guys think? As people, I assume all of you guys have not really been into the Final Fantasy series at all.
Ah,
No, not really.
I followed it for quite a while.
Does this trailer do anything?
no.
To an
Does it
extent.
rub you in at all?
I'm-
Lasso you at the ankles?
Does it engorge your loins?
Oh,
No.
Oh.
So I've played the original Final Fantasies. I played Tactics. I played 10. I played 10-2. I'm not. I played Lightning's Revenge, and I think I played 12, which I think maybe that was Lightning Revenge. Anyhow, I played quite a few of them. I enjoy Final Fantasy what it is. I wouldn't like eventually. I might try this. I didn't get into like the online stuff, but it's just
is Final Fantasy
Final
like an
Fantasy's old to
anthology
me.
kind of thing? Like, is because there's a lot of this, I mean, there's a lot of Final Fantasies apparently.
Oh yeah,
And
there's a shit
every
ton.
time I see one, it's like you said the boy band one. There's like a futuristic one. There's like
I'm
medieval
pretty
time ones, like,
sure
how,
for the
how,
most part,
what is it?
they all exist in their own
Okay.
universes.
Okay, so it's like kind of an anthology, so none of them really.
Well, in
connect.
different
Yeah,
timelines
and they will
too.
periodically some of them are different timelines. Some of them take place in the same universe in different times.
Because like if you look at
Most of them are not even in the same universe.
right,
I
like
don't think
Crystal
they even take
Chronicles
place
has
in the same
nothing to do
world.
with the original series whatsoever.
And
it's
they even
zero.
bring this up. It's kind of the point of World of Final Fantasy,
Okay.
because the concept of that game is all of the characters are coming through the portal into like the universal portal from their universe into this universe. And
Because
yeah,
I always wonder, it's like
so
another Final Fantasy is announced. How many fantasies are the final ones?
I know.
Well, I mean, look at it
Gotta keep
this
going.
way too. Kingdom Hearts is a part of certain portions of the Final Fantasy realm.
What? It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they
not really.
not necessarily. It's kind of like a
not-
spin-off type thing, but like they
It's more.
intertwine with each
It's
other.
like.
What if kind of thing.
It's more like Final Fantasy characters are characters in Kingdom Hearts, but
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts characters aren't characters in Final
Right.
Fantasy.
Okay. So
It's-
yeah, it's like a spin-off, kind of like a,
Well,
a
Kingdom
Batman
Hearts,
or Marvel
Kingdom
versus
Hearts
Capcom
is
kind of
all about like crossovers, right? Isn't that
It's
the whole premise
Disney.
of it?
Right.
It's Disney
Disney.
owned,
But-
but like Square Enix made it for them, so they shoehorned in some Final Fantasy characters,
Okay.
and there's some of them are the main villains too. So
Nice.
yeah, I mean, to an extent, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. It looks nice, but it's Final Fantasy. Of course, it looks nice, and it's 16, and I know in Japan they're on like 20 or something. So, there's nothing
They
too
have
much to say.
Cool creature design.
Yeah, it's definitely a darker tone for the series, but I feel like Final Fantasy jumps between like super bright and cheery, like the chorus game they had on the PS Vita and Crystal Chronicles, all the way down to
What?
like
Huh?
10
Yeah.
and 7, which were pretty dark too.
Yeah, like compare Crystal Chronicles remaster that just came out to like this,
Oh yeah,
like
it's
thematically.
night and day, well, literally, and I don't know. I don't know. It's Final Fantasy. Everyone has a soft spot for Final Fantasy to one
Yeah.
extent or another, and you get the hardcore fanboys. I sit somewhere in the middle.
Apparently, because they have so many. So
Yeah, I know. Well, it's their cash cow, and it has been for a long time. And they're not gonna let
Do
it
you guys think
die.
Do you guys think it's weird that this is coming out like now?
what do you mean?
Now instead of
do you mean?
what, like in the future,
With like Final Fantasy VII not being done.
the remake or the remaster, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it.
Oh.
Yeah,
No,
because they like broke that up into different parts,
Oh.
no.
and
I mean,
That's weird.
it's just a new. I think they look at that as like,
Studio.
something that's already been expressed, and it's just like, oh, you can experience it again. Whereas this is like, oh, here's a whole new experience for you. I don't think it's that weird. If they were aiming to try to get like the whole story out at once, then maybe, but I don't know. I don't have that connection with Final Fantasy anymore for some reason. I wish that I did.
anymore.
I wish that I was a hardcore about it, but I passively try one here and there every once in a while, and I'm never disappointed. It's just, it's there.
Just meh.
It's just there.
it just never like blows you out of your seat.
Right, and it's like
Never
I
knocking your
can
socks off.
honestly say I think it was 13 or 12 or something like that. Whatever Lightning's Revenge was, it could have even been 14. Was one of my favorite games that I've played RPG wise. I wouldn't put it in my top 10 list. I wouldn't put it in my top 20 list probably. If it's in my top 20, it's number 20, and it's just because there's nothing that blows my mind about it. I don't know. I'm desensitized to Final Fantasy. That's the easiest way for me to put it.
No.
And I know you haven't played an extensive amount of Final Fantasy, right, Joey?
No,
I feel like I'm the only one
No,
that
I-
has played a decent amount of it.
I tried different ones at different times and just couldn't get into them. Like I tried 10, and at some point I got lost and kept hitting random encounters like literally every 5 steps.
I think I got
So,
stuck there
I-
too.
It was like it's like one of those situations where it's like I'm getting random battles so frequently that I can't assess where I'm even at or where I need to go
Right.
because the constant random battles are like drawing my attention
Jeez.
away. So I just gave up on it.
Right. And for me, I
I think I
rented
might
these
pick up
games.
Final Fantasy VII at some point.
You should. I rented these games from Blockbuster when Blockbuster was still around. I didn't finish all of them. Though, like I said, Lightning's Revenge, I can say I did finish because I actually bought that game and I owned it. 7, I played a decent portion of it. I don't remember it well because it's been so long that I played it. And I think on an older podcast I said that I didn't play it, but I just like it's been so long. Well, no, it's been so long because like I thought back and I was watching some of the gameplay of it, someone else playing it, and I'm like, I have played that before, and I get like little flashes of this and that I've seen in the past. It's just I don't remember it. I don't remember it at all. I really don't. I just like every once in a great while I'll be like, oh, that battle looks familiar. But anyhow, cool. 16, good for them.
Good for them.
I
Yeah,
know.
glad they're still.
Not much to add
Something
there
along.
from my end.
All right, we're going to move on to our last topic. And that topic is the Unity Software IPO.
Wow.
Unity Software out here making big money,
Ooh.
public on the stock market. PJ, tell us all about it.
Oh, I'm the one that put this here? When
Are you the one who put? I assumed you put it here because you're business boy PJ.
I did not, but
yeah.
I can
Business
tell
boy
you when
PJ. That's what we're calling
I mean,
it now.
I skimmed the article really
Who put
quick.
it on here? You put it on here, Garrett?
I guess.
Yes, but I like watching hearing
Okay,
me.
Garrett,
I mean,
you
I
tell
can
us
no,
all
I can
about it,
tell
man.
you. I read the article.
No, go ahead. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Go ahead, PJ.
So basically, Unity's shares went public, and so it's made their share prices go up by 44%. Initially, they were trying to get the shares out at like 30ish, but they're actually at 75, which is pretty astounding
Wait,
for something that's just gone public.
Oh, I didn't know they went public. Damn it.
Um,
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
So I guess they did Fall Guys, Pokemon Go, or well, the engine runs. These games run on this
Oh, it's on
engine.
a lot of games,
Fall
yeah.
Guys, Pokemon Go, Call. I mean, it's Unity. If you haven't heard of Unity and
Yeah.
you're listening to us, I think you're
Where
listening
have
to
you
the
been?
wrong podcast.
Yeah,
and,
tons of stuff
and a
run
lot
on
of
Unity.
indie games use it too,
Yeah.
and a lot of big games
Huge.
like the full spectrum of development uses this engine.
Yeah,
so this
also
is a big deal.
Yeah, and film, and
Oh
film animation too.
yes, exactly.
So that's
So the
So-
implications of this is going to be interesting, right?
it's gonna
Let me also
throw
ask:
big money
is
everywhere.
Unity going the same direction as like Unreal in terms of their stuff for movies and television?
Yeah, it's yeah, kind of. Yeah.
What, John? What's an example of Unity being used in the Hollywood industry?
Pretty much
the
any of
film industry?
Neil Blomkamp's like short films that he's making, his independent films. That's
Using
the director
VFX?
of
Oh, that's right. Those
District
all
9.
do. Yeah,
Yeah, those are all Unity.
those are
Okay.
all dope as hell. If you
Yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
seen those, I don't remember what the YouTube channel is. I
I
might have
forget,
to.
I'm blanking.
Yeah, but I'm sure if you type in Neil Blomkamp, that's his name,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, with a K.
If you type that up on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find it. But they have
Yeah,
like
he's
shorts.
Really, his stuff is very like uncomfortable, but it's interesting storytelling.
I love when someone
so-
describes something as uncomfortable.
Oh, I love being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't.
Sometimes
It,
it's
it
nice
is
being
very,
uncomfortable.
it is very unsettling. Like
Yeah, yeah, that's
Unset- Unsettling's
PJ,
better.
You remember
Yeah,
District
unsettling.
9, right? You remember watching
That's
that?
unsettling.
That's
so
like-
that's the
unsettling, yeah.
difference. Unsettling is something that can like unrest you and bring emotion to you.
Yeah, and make you uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable? No, because uncomfortable is
It's
like
pooping your
watching
pants and
someone
sitting there for
do
hours on
something
end.
cringy.
like
Or that
like
too.
itchy. Oh, true.
No, because that's
So
what I
one of
relate
the
to
uns-
cringy. Like
Yeah.
someone, a kid going up to the front of the class and accidentally pissing himself during a presentation.
Ooh.
That is cringy, and I can't watch that. Unsettling. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh god, this is making my skin crawl, but I want to see
So-
what happens.
Okay, so this is like Unity is consistently compared to Unreal as far as game engines go, but
Right.
as far as businesses go, Unity is its own thing, correct? Because Epic owns the Unreal Engine,
Right.
but Epic develops using Unreal.
Right.
What does Unity do? Are they just strictly developers of the engine itself, right?
I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Unity just produces the engine, and then like the Unity store where like assets for the engine are held, and you
Yeah.
can like purchase assets on the Unity store and stuff like that.
So that's a very interesting business model. Because I didn't know they were this big, to be honest. I thought they were owned by someone. I didn't know they were able to do an IPO like this.
I feel like
So-
Unity's published games as well, though. I don't know why I feel like that, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. You
Publish
just
like demos. Like I mean, Unreal does the same thing, like demo films and games.
to demonstrate their
to
their
demonstrate-
engine.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I think it's just the oversaturation of seeing their logo in front of
Yeah, that's probably what you're thinking.
every like cold open or something.
Yeah, it could be that. I mean, they're huge. I want to say they probably. What are they? The third. They're in the top 3 engines right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's cool. I'm glad that they're doing that. I wish I had known because I would have bought some shares in that shit.
Well, I was watching it too, but like on Robinhood, you couldn't buy any because because it was still like being
It was
like
private, right?
in the process of the IPO. Yeah, so all we could watch on Robinhood, or all we could do on Robinhood is watch the opening price go from $30 to $70.
that's
So, but either way, like
yeah.
it's a long-term investment for
Oh, yeah.
this because you know this is going to be a successful company, and it's not like no matter when you get in, you're going to get good returns. So don't at me. I'm not a stockbroker or anything, but it just makes
Yeah.
sense, honestly.
Definitely keep an eye
It's
on it.
interesting at the bottom of this. So it's a CNN article, but the bottom it's stating the fact that it's like put in the background to Epic because of Epic's lawsuit with Apple and Google. So like that bad publicity is giving them, coverage. So I wonder if Unity, if it had come out on a more mundane Tuesday, just not necessarily that it came out Tuesday, but just in general, would it
I think
be bigger
go
stock
ahead.
money right now? Like, would it had come out over 100 if it was still on par with like Epic, or did this fact that it's in the background make it more expensive?
Well, if you put in perspective, Epic is like
Epic.
such a huge, it's an epic company, but Unity, like Epic, is highly diverse because they have the games they develop, they have
Right.
their service platform for selling games.
Well,
and
that's
they
just
have their engine.
because like if you look at all the songwriters in the music industry, for instance, you have all these ones that have written for giant names. You don't know who the fuck they are. That's Unity.
Yeah.
And then you have Sia. Sia can sing and she writes a lot of songs for famous people. That's Epic. You know who the hell she is. That's the problem with Unity is that if
well, it
everyone
wasn't
knew that-
always like that for CA either.
No, it wasn't. That's a different discussion. I'm just making a point that like Unity, if they had published their own games, or if and I think at this point they're going to be that name
Yeah.
soon because if Epic Games or if the Unreal Engine gets pulled off the market for a little while, even if it's just temporary, Unity's gonna get put to the forefront.
And I agree with that because I think it's a natural progression. With this IPO, they're going to have a lot of money to play with and to kind of diversify and expand themselves because pretty much following the footsteps of what like Epic already did.
Right.
Because Epic started off just developing Unreal Engine. Isn't that correct? Or what was their story? Because I'm not too familiar with that.
Epic's created the Unreal Engine, I think, specifically for gears.
And then
did
they started
not?
developing their own games using Unreal Engine.
No,
and
I
it,
think
like,
it was
after licensing it.
for a specific.
I want to say that the
Unreal
Unreal Engine was designed for Unreal Tournament,
Oh, okay.
which was the game that Epic
Sounds-
developed, and then
Okay.
they licensed out the engine to other developers.
Yeah,
Similar to id Tech with the Doom engine, right?
that makes sense. I'm gonna say you're
Okay.
probably right on that because I have zero idea. But
And it just started and it just started becoming the standard essentially because everybody started saying, "Oh, I've used Unreal Engine from this last development
Well, I mean,
process."
it didn't become
just
the
looks nice.
standard because id Tech was around for a long time, and
True.
there are, Game Brio, and there are other engines, right? It's just
Frostbite,
that,
like everything.
yeah, it's just that the Unreal Engine was a very commonly used engine,
Well,
especially during the 360 PS3 generation.
right, and I feel like
Yeah.
Unreal Engine's one of those ones where it can be used, and it's like it has a low floor and it also has a high ceiling. So it's like no matter what
Yeah.
you do with it, it's not going to look like shit. It will look decent, and then you have the potential to make it even look more fantastic if you take the time versus systems or like Unity, and then
Unity has a very low floor, but also a very high ceiling,
right.
right?
Yeah, I
So
thought the
like,
range is pretty good, and I thought the capabilities of Unity, like you having
well, but
high
I mean that
capabilities with Unity. Oh, go ahead.
I mean that in potentially a bad sense,
Right.
right? Because like from
Oh.
PJ's perspective, like getting your hands on the Unreal Engine before was relatively difficult, right? Whereas getting your hands on the Unity engine was incredibly easy, and any jackass could pick up the Unity engine and produce some garbage and put it out on Steam,
Right.
which very
Oh,
quickly
okay.
gave Unity a bad reputation as the game engine that indie garbage is produced on.
Yeah.
Even though there are fantastic games that come out on the
Yeah.
Unity
Oh,
engine,
for sure.
it's just that when a development team takes the time and develops specifically for it and makes their own assets and stuff, yeah, of course the game's going to come out looking great because it's a good engine. It's just you can also easily produce garbage on it.
So it's just
I
it's,
actually didn't know that.
it's just like
I
the
think that
availability
they've
of it that
changed.
created the
Yeah,
issue.
and I
There.
think they're slowly changing the image too.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the reason.
exactly it. Because I've always felt like maybe I'm more in tune with indie games, but I've always felt like
Yeah, it
I've
was-
always noticed the logo on
Yeah.
Unity's logo on all the good games that I've always
Fall-
enjoyed. So.
Fallout's on Unity too, is it not?
No,
what?
Fallout runs on the Game Brio engine.
Oh, okay. So whatever one it is for them, I'm not crapping on Fallout. I just never been a fan of the aesthetics of Fallout, and it's like,
Over
No,
Bethesda?
Fallout runs on a bad engine.
and that's
Yeah.
You're
All of
valid in
Bethesda's
saying
games
that.
are- Yeah.
and it's like
All of the Bethesda games, yeah.
yeah. So it's like
well, it used to be good, but still it's outdated.
It allows for a lot of things, but is also janky garbage.
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's my point. Is like the Unreal Engine. I think there's even at its worst still looks good, but that engine even at its best still looks bad. And I think Unity falls somewhere in the middle there because it's probably on the same par as Unreal. It's just you probably have to give it a little bit more love for it to be
Well,
there. That's just from what
I was
I've
gonna say,
noticed.
That's the thing, right? Is there are games that run on the Unity engine that you know nothing about because, of course, you've never played them. They're garbage Steam shovelware,
Yeah.
right? You'd be surprised at how bad the Unity engine can look
Yeah.
if
And how
somebody
good they look,
produces
too.
like bad enough garbage
I'm
on
sure
it.
the
Yeah.
same
Well,
thing
I
for
think that's
Unreal.
a case for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
For-
Right, but it's like a gatekeeping thing,
Yeah,
right? With
like,
most game
watch-
engines, you have to have capital to even get access to them in the first place, which means that you are a maybe not potentially a skilled developer, but like you know what you're doing. Whereas
Yeah.
like it's very easy for just like game design students to get their hands on the Unity engine and like produce some garbage game with assets from the asset store and put it out on Steam for $15.
Well, and it's mind-boggling to think that when we were in high school, Unity was a free engine that you could get and test out on. It was a baby still, but like it's the same thing as Blender. Blender is now a 3D, like highly regarded 3D rendering
it was
engine.
freaking amazing.
But I remember when it
And-
first came out and it was in beta, and I used it, and it was
Yeah,
trash.
And I think I tried using it in middle
It was
school.
too
and
hard.
It was horrible.
I would say I'm maybe being a little too harsh on Unity because the thing is at the end of the day, it is a fantastic tool for budding game designers because you get access to a robust game engine that has a lot of options available, that allows for a lot of options to the developers, and is very easy to quickly grasp and start developing on.
Firmly
Right?
grasp it.
It's just
It's
because
easy.
of the nature of that, it's created a situation where you got a lot of bad shovelware
Yeah.
on
Yep.
Steam. And
if
part
you-
of it
and
is
you have-
Steam's fault for allowing that stuff on the store in the first place when they just
Yeah.
opened up the floodgates. But that's not the fault of Unity per se.
No.
Well, they
The
started out
Unity
by
engine's still good.
allowing this tool to be easily accessible to these people.
Yeah, I
which
appreciate
is
that
what
about
helped
'em.
them like kind of get to that point where they can be like, like if you have the right people that know how to use a tool, it's amazing. Like again, like going back to Neil Blomkamp's films, some of them are like not pre-rendered. They're actually game rendered, real-time rendered scenes that look like movies, like animated movies. And you're like, holy crap! So it's a powerful tool if you use it correctly. Same with Unreal.
So anyway, is it time to pick up Unity stock? Is it going to be
Yes.
consistently on the rise? Buy. Don't sell. Maybe sell. I don't know. I don't know anything about the stock
Bye,
market.
bye, bye.
I wanted to, before we close out this topic, let everybody know that in Japan, Unity has a anime waifu mascot named Unity-chan,
Wait, I gotta look this up. What?
and
Wow.
She had big Titas.
that's all I got to say about that. Not really.
Unity waifu.
Unity Chan.
Oh,
Okay.
Chan.
I would not have thought that was okay.
Oh, good for her.
Huh.
Well,
And good for Unity. I guess the only
Take
way
a
to
look at
market
that.
stuff is in Japan,
Japan,
is
yeah,
to
yeah, you
have
need
a
mascot.
waifu. You have to have
Yeah,
a
it's like-
waifu for everything.
Like every prefecture has its own mascot in Japan. I love that.
Yeah.
It's like why can't every city or county in the U.S. have?
I like the
its own
chibi
mascot?
version of her. She's adorable.
Yeah, chibi is pretty good.
Adorable. Anyhow.
Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for us here on the
Oh,
Phat Peeps
wow.
podcast.
Amazing.
We have a YouTube channel that things go up on. People have been playing Grease on there.
Yep.
So greasy.
So
Thursdays.
That's coming out.
Also,
Are there Call of Duty dubs still?
Call of Duty dubs on
Oh,
Sundays. This will be up Wednesday, as you guys know. You're listening to it. Tuesdays, we might have something new, or we might have another Overcooked. We'll end up seeing. So check that out. And then if you guys didn't see it, we were gonna do our first impressions of Black Ops, but we figured why not actually just do it over some gameplay. So check out the alpha gameplay that I put together for us off the PlayStation, and we did some voiceover talking of it. So go check that out. It was published on Monday, so let us know what you think of that too.
Wait. Are we in the future?
We're in the past future.
Oh.
The future
What?
self, past self, future.
We haven't, but it will be there, so don't worry. Just go check it out on from Monday.
There's also a stream.
There's a
the
stream.
name.
Cameraman John stream. Just Monday. Wednesday, Friday. For some stream goodies.
And Monday.
Yay.
You
Yeah,
said
Monday.
The
6:30
following Monday.
Pacific time.
And the next
Just doing fun
Monday,
stuff.
and the Monday after. So for
the one
that,
after
I
that.
just want to throw it out there really quick. We will have a new challenge next month, or a new contest, I should say.
Oh, art challenge.
We'll
Wow.
release the information on that in the next few weeks, so keep an ear out on that, and take a look for Spooktober, because there's going to be a bunch of cool stuff for
Yay.
October coming out on the YouTube and for John's
Things
stream.
are
He's
getting
already
spoopy.
started it on Fridays with Spooktember. So yeah.
Y'all can't wait. Can't wait to have nightmares.
I'm so spooky.
Spoopy.
Oh, so scary.
Well, bye everybody.
Yeah, that's going to do it for us here on the podcast. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody, for listening. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.
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 Alexa, turn on the lights. Why did you turn off? You turn
Tim?
it off.
You do you, Tim.